Addo Boahen and his wife has done is like a thriller in Manila. Please brace yourself for a rumble in the jungle in the next few weeks. As the director of BNC, Mr. Addo Boahen was a co-signatory to the BNC's director's account at Fidelity Bank. While serving as director of BNC, however, he and his wife, Miss Angela Ejeboating, registered a company on October 23rd, 2018, which they named BNC, was designed, to engage in a criminal enterprise. Mr. Addo Boahen, who was the head of the BNC, and his wife are listed as directors of the private BNC. Okay, so they registered a company, and the two of them, together are the directors of the company, private BNC, at Universal Merchant Bank, UMB. According to the mandate on the account, either of the directors could sign checks and approve transactions on the account. In his capacity as director of the national BNC, Mr. Addo on the one hand, and on the other hand, an Israeli company called ISC Holdings Limited. The contract was for the purchase of a cyber defense system software at a price of 7 million United States of American dollars. 49 million Ghana cedis being the money Mr. Addo Boahen transferred from the bank account of the national BNC to his private BNC, and 9.5 million being the money he actually paid to the ISC Holdings for the software, ended up with him and his wife. The ultimate beneficial owner of BNC Communications Limited are through a very complex web of shareholding and directorship connected to Mr. Addo Boahen and his wife, Angela. Monies, mostly proceeds of crime from the Advantage Solutions Limited and BNC Communications Bureau Limited and other similar sources have been transmitted under very suspicious circumstances through the bank accounts of these companies. The investigations have revealed so far that the suspect and his wife have registered companies which we are currently tracking on the investigations arising out of or in connection with the oral report that was presented to me on the 10th of February this year. So first, to the Addo Boahen case, because you'll recall that he was arrested at the airport. So at about 9 p.m., on Thursday, March 20th, 2025, an operation carried out by a team of investigators from the Economic and Organized Crime Office, which is under the Ministry of Justice, led to the arrest of Mr. Kobina when Mr. Addo Boahen, disembarked from a British Airways flight. Mr. Addo Boahen is the immediate past Director General of the National Signals Bureau of the National Security Council. At about midday on Friday, March 21st, 2025, whom I have indicated is the wife of Mr. Addo Boahen. Madam Angela, the couple are shareholders and directors of a list of companies which the investigation establishes have been used for transactions which form the subject matter of the investigations. The arrests follow intensive investigations into the purchase of some cyber intelligence equipment by the National Signals Bureau, formerly known as the Bureau of National Communications. It must be made clear from the outset that though under the under the Operation Recover All Loot government program, this operation does not form part of the list of cases which the oral committee submitted to the Attorney General, Executive Director in charge of operations at EOCO. Here are the facts on which the arrests were made. On February 25th, 2025, around 11:30, 23:20 hours, EOCO received intelligence that suspect Kobina Addo Boahen left the country for the United Kingdom via British Airways flight BA 078 to London. Days after that, EOCO received further intelligence that the suspect had flown from the United Kingdom to Dubai, 2025 at 7. On Thursday, March 20th, 2025, EOCO received intelligence again, additional intelligence, that the suspect had April 18, 2020. That is April 8th, not 18, April 8th, 2020. Now, I want this chronology to sink in because of a point that I will be making later on about why we are detaining him. On March 20th, around 3 p.m., EOCO's operational team, led by the acting deputy executive director in charge of operations, assessed its operational plan to include the possibility that the suspect could have traveled back to London to fly to Ghana in an attempt to evade surveillance. EOCO assessed with high confidence that the changes made by the suspect in terms of arrival date in Ghana may have been calculated step to mislead investigators and throw them off any possible surveillance. EOCO further assessed that at the time of the cancellation of the Emirates flight, the suspect on a stop order, arrival and arrest of the suspect on either British Airways or KLM, which was expected to arrive in Accra. An hour to the arrival of the British Airways flight 078 in Accra, EOCO received intelligence that a name similar to Addo in the manifest may be on the British Airways flight. The suspect had slightly altered his name on all, the name that is reflected on all his passports. Around 9 p.m. on March 21st, the suspect was stopped by Ghana Immigration Service as he attempted to use the commercially important person CIP terminal class to economy, and decided to evade arrest through the CIP terminal. EOCO has evidence that the suspect has at least 2 service passports, one which expires in 2020. He also has a normal passport. Usually you would have a normal passport before you are issued the service passport. EOCO is currently following up on intelligence, because from what I'm going to tell you, the massive wealth that he has accumulated from 2018 shows that it is possible for him to have bought citizenship in some of the countries or jurisdictions where you can actually, as an investor, buy citizenship. And also, his wife holds a British passport, which we have in our possession. Now, as I said, he is the immediate past Director General of the National Signals Bureau. He left office sometime in February 2025. NSB, or the National Signals Bureau, is a successor organization to the now defunct Bureau of National Communications. Prior to the enactment of the NSB Act, that is the National Signals Bureaus Act 2020, which transformed the BNC into the NSB, Mr. Addo, in other words, he has been in the management and control of Ghana's signal infrastructure since 2017. As the director of BNC, Mr. Addo was a co-signatory to the BNC's director's account at Fidelity Bank. While serving as director of BNC, however, he and his wife, Miss Angela Ejeboating, registered a company on October 23rd, 2018, which they named, the similarity between the names here, that is BNC, was designed, to engage in a criminal enterprise, which will unfold as I go further. For purposes of differentiation, we will call the private company Private BNC. Mr. Addo, who is the head or who was the head of the BNC, and his wife are listed as directors of the private BNC. So they registered the company, and the two of them, together are the directors of the company, private BNC, at Universal Merchant Bank, UMB. According to the mandate on the account, either of the directors could sign checks and approve transactions on the account. In his capacity as director of the national BNC, Mr. Addo, on the one hand, and on the other hand, an Israeli company called ISC Holdings Limited. The contract was for the purchase of a cyber defense system software at a price of $7 million United States of American dollars. 6, 2020, Mr. 1,000 Ghana cedis, that is from the national BNC's operations account at Fidelity Bank to the private BNC account at UMB. Official documentation on the transfer revealed that the amount was for the payment of cyber defense system software, which the national BNC was buying from ISC Holdings, the private BNC. In the account of his private BNC, 9,537,520 Ghana cedis to ISC Holdings in Israel. But the 9.5 million and the 9.5 million, Mr. Addo Boahen fraudulently attached a copy of the Government of Ghana ISC contract as well as an invoice, which he held out as an invoice issued by ISC Holdings Limited in respect of the Government of Ghana ISC contract. On March 18th, 2020, and March 30th, 2020, respectively, he again transferred 21 million Ghana cedis from the National BNC Director's account at Fidelity Bank to the same private BNC account at UMB. The narration of the transaction indicated that it was for the payment of the cyber defense systems that the National BNC was buying. The transfer from the National BNC's account brought the total transfer by the exchange rate at the time. This amount was exactly the Ghana cedi equivalent of 7 million United States of American dollars. The exact full amount which he quoted as the price at which ISC Holdings sold the cyber defense equipment to Government of Ghana. All the payments transferred to the invoice, a number from ISC Holdings, all the payments reference the invoice number from ISC Holdings to the National BNC. Importantly, after the initial transfer of the 9.5 million Ghana cedis, which was the equivalent of 1.750 United States of American dollars from the private BNC to ISC Holdings, no further payments were made to ISC. After the payment of the 1,750,000, Mr. Addo Boahen and his wife began applying the rest of the funds for their personal use, making transfers to local third parties, personal investment, as well as transfers to unknown persons. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen of the media, we have all the account details. We have all the receipts. Was conducted by EOCO, as I've indicated, has established that the ultimate beneficial, in essence, the difference between 49 million Ghana cedis being the money Mr. Addo Boahen transferred from the bank account of the National BNC to his private BNC, and 9.5 million being the money he actually paid to the ISC Holdings for the software, ended up with him and his wife. That is to say that the sum of 39,406,000. The investigation has revealed that the ultimate beneficial owner of BNC Communications Limited are through a very complex web of shareholding and directorship connected to Mr. Addo Boahen and his wife, Angela. Investigations have also established that monies, mostly proceeds of crime, from the Advantage Solutions Limited and BNC Communications Bureau Limited and other similar sources have been transmitted under very suspicious circumstances through the bank accounts of these companies. The investigations have revealed so far that the suspect and his wife have registered companies which we are currently tracking. We are tracking all the companies. There are about 10, of them that they created with Advantage Solutions, mostly owning all the companies. For purposes of the investigation that is ongoing, we are not going to disclose those companies. But knowing that Mr. Addo Boahen has been arrested, prosecute them. So they are all warned. All banks are also warned that if we see any wire transfers or cash withdrawals on any transfers, will equally be arrested. After this press conference, no activity, and we are monitoring all their bank accounts from the Financial Intelligence Center. Monitoring that very, very closely with financial transactions at UMB, Fidelity Bank, and Stanbic Bank. So we are monitoring them keenly. And the managers of this bank, if they are listening to me, should be careful about what they do on any account connected to Mr. Addo and his wife and their companies. The investigations also established that the proceeds from the suspect's activities were used to buy significant landed properties and other assets of considerable value both in Ghana and elsewhere. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the press, so the properties that are in their names, their joint names, or sometimes in their in their individual names, are as follows. We have number 2 Stream Park Drive, Mayfair Estates, LA, that is Accra. For that, they deposited, and we have the deposit slip as well as the receipt from the estate developer, $1 million United States of American dollars. Number 6, Edith Avenue, Mayfair Estates, Accra. Deposit 500,000 United States of America. That's American dollars. That's the initial deposit. All right. Then for the property, number 97,815 United States of American dollars was deposited for that property. But we are sure that other cash payments were made in all those documents. Number 9, Edith Avenue, Mayfair Estate, 270,000 United States of American dollars deposited, initial deposit for the purchase. Number 10, Edith Avenue, Mayfair Estates, Accra, 150,000 United States of American dollars deposited. Now, he also owns a company known as Vertex Properties. Vertex Properties. And we've traced the proceeds of crime to Vertex Properties also. They are located at Oyarefa. Each house costs, an estimated cost of 295 thousand United States of American dollars. We also know that they have 2 properties in London that we are tracking, and I'm going to hands on those, and we know that on February 11th from the payment received from BN Ghana Cedis. On April 11, 250,000 Ghana Cedis, okay, in cash. He would do that in cash. This payment came out of the second transfer of the 21 million from BNC National Security to BNC, his private, company. On April 24th, 2020, 566 million. So you see the coincidence, okay, of the transactions that were taking place. Then February to September, out of the 49 million, which was transferred from BNC National Security to his private BNC, about 99% was withdrawn by him personally. And they were largely very large cash withdrawals. And we believe that those were the withdrawals that were made for him to make the deposit for the properties that are enumerated above. Now, we are still tracking, but we'll conclude in the next few days and file charges against him and the other suspects. So they are currently in detention. We had given them bail conditions from EOCO, he and his wife and the other suspect. Now, the reason I'm not mentioning the other suspects is that for purposes of our strategy, and if they are listening to me, some of them as prosecution witnesses, if they give us the offer, fine. If they don't want to cooperate with this evidence, I don't see how they and the suspect will get out of, being convicted. But of course, they will have to be, their guilt will have to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. So I'm not being presumptuous, but we have all the evidence from what you can see from the enumeration that we have all the evidence, including receipts for suspect Addo and his wife. Now, I want to say something briefly about the oral investigations. Now, the allegations of looting of state resources contained in the oral report submitted to me a few weeks ago. In view of the fact that these matters are still under investigation I will not go into the details as I have done with, for prosecutions to begin. In the National Service scandal, 8 suspects have been interrogated, and a good number of them have started singing. They are cooperating with our they've started singing, literally. Yeah? So we will give you details of their songs at the appropriate time. In view of the fact that, so indeed, we now have evidence of payments that were made into the accounts of the top executives of the National Service by vendors, private vendors, and staff of the scheme. We also have a CEO of the National Service Scheme and others paid a Ghanaian MP to kill the story in the media and to defend them. Now, this is a developing story, and more will come out very soon. In respect of SkyTrain, we can confirm that the $2 million was paid at the request of the chairman of the board of directors of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. That is, and then the CEO team first, and noticed that he was in South Africa. So he left Ghana somewhere around February 2nd, the 2nd of February, to South Africa. So we were monitoring him in South Africa. And then he left South Africa and is now in Senegal. When we contacted him, he told us that 3 months, right? So we are patiently waiting for him, prosecutorial authority to, prosecute him, said with him to transfer that money. The Prof. Ekumfi is in the country. So if there is going to be delay, we'll start the prosecution with him being a suspect who is being tried in absentia. And the conditions precedent of the board of directors have confirmed this fact. So we requested for all the minutes, of the board of directors within the period that this transaction occurred. And our perusal of the minutes show quite clearly that there was no board approval. Also, the interrogation has revealed that the other board members said that they did not have knowledge of this transaction. In fact, there was one of the minutes where one of the members questioned why the GI given to him by the 2 persons who, schemed and transferred $2 million of taxpayers' money to a Mauritius company. In fact, we tracked the company to Mauritius, and a lawyer in Mauritius has confirmed to us that it is non-existent. But that's also, a developing story. Now, the money, you see, if you are buying shares in a company, you are buying shares in a company, that's your equity contribution to that company. The money is supposed to be paid into the share investment holdings, And when, it was paid, we noticed that Africa Investment Holdings was paid 100,000 United States of American dollars as the GIF's contribution to equity. And then listen to this, 1.9 million was paid to Africa Investment Holdings as share premium. Now, when you are paying for share premium, for those of you who are accountants and lawyers, we paid for the performance of the company or the growth of the company and so on and so forth. So the company must have a certain track record for paying a share premium, to a company, an SPV that you just incorporated, all right? And I believe that the accountants will confirm that with share premium, it's easy for the directors to take the money than when it is the share, when the money is in the actual share account. So it can tell you that this was done with some criminal enterprise, in mind. But again, I'm not prejudging anything. If we come across evidence, that shows that they are innocent, I will not go to court. I told this country that I will not take anybody to court unless I am convinced that there's evidence to prove the guilt of the person beyond reasonable doubt. And as I've laid out, you can tell from what we have done And I must thank the Economic and Organized Crime Office, the director, and the operations holding. Those significant progress has been made. And I believe that if I took those cases to court, I will obtain a conviction. That is why I'm telling you about them. But free Wi-Fi, okay, and the rest of them are still under investigation. So we are not going to be talking about them. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic, observed, but the President knows, suspect Addo Boahen and his wife has done is like a thriller in Manila. Please brace yourself for a rumble in the jungle in the next few weeks. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
So the Attorney General will now field questions from journalists present, and now field questions from journalists present and media representatives, in order that we have an orderly framework within which to work with. If you have any question, please put up your hand. I'll call you, and then you step up to ask. We will take 5 questions at a time, 2 rounds of 5 questions. So please step forward if you have a question.
Attorney General, my name is Darrell Alantego from the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. In not too distant weeks gone, the Deputy Attorney General answered a question, and it appears to me that the AG is under a certain pressure to go to court on some of the cases you have gathered so far, either from oral or from the National Service. Is it the case that you're under pressure?
All right, 1 question per journalist, please.
My name is Kweku Asante from Joy FM and Joy News. This one, on Mr. Addo Boahen and the wife and the other suspect, you talked about some bail conditions. We want to know specifically, are they still in detention? Have they met those bail conditions and all that? And if you can briefly provide some update on what has been referred in some sections of the media as a raid on the former Bank of Ghana's governor's residence, and what led to that. We understand your office did authorize that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Addo. I report for fmnewsonline.com. Flowing from what Joy has said, it seems the minority even of stealing allegedly from the former governor's house. And may I know, are you doing something unconstitutional regarding investigation and invading houses of former appointees?
Good morning. My name is Mawina with TV3. With respect to other companies, I want to find out if there's been you've officially applied for freezing orders to those banks to ensure that the coffers are not emptied, even though you've served a warning. And secondly, the Deputy Attorney General has mentioned, amongst many other things, the Senate of Parliament and suggested there was going to be a cure of some form for it. What is that cure, if we may ask?
All right, thank you very much. So the Attorney General will proceed to answer these set of questions, after which we'll come back for a final round.
Yeah, thank you very much. On the first issue of whether I am under pressure to go to court, you would understand that the issue of accountability and oral, that is Operation Recover or Loot, was a central plank of His Excellency's campaign. In fact, the National Democratic Congress campaigned seriously on the issue of accountability. Ghanaians bought into that campaign and other issues that we addressed during the campaign, and that is why they voted for us to hold those who have abused public office accountable. So yes, I'm under pressure. But I'm under pressure not from political quarters, but from ordinary Ghanaians. Despite my busy schedule, I find time to go to social media. They are in a hurry to know what we are doing about holding people who have looted state resources accountable. Yes, sometimes you may have some of your colleagues saying that things are not going as quickly as we wanted. But I have said that I will not run, and he accepts that. So yes, the pressure is coming, but you see, it was under that pressure that, together with EOCO, we investigated Addo Boahen. You see how diligent the work has been. You see the evidence we have laid out, okay? If you're under pressure, you go to court, and then you now come back to look for evidence, like some other attorney general did in the past, and subsequently was calling a witness to help the witness help him, make out his case. All right, so I won't do that at all. I would, if I don't have the kind of evidence that I have on Addo Boahen, I will not go to court. So yes, the pressure is there, but I'm soaking in the pressure together with my Deputy Attorney General and some of the staff. We are soaking in the pressure. Now, with respect to the bail conditions, yes, we gave them bail conditions. I think all in all, it's about 160 million. Yes, about 160 million Ghana cedis bail. Some of their friends and family. We are verifying the titles of those properties and to see if, we will accept them in order to grant the bail. Now, with respect to Addo Boahen, I got a briefing last night, and I'm thinking that he should continue to stay in detention. If we are granting the wife and the other suspects bail, he should continue to stay in detention because of what has come to my knowledge. So I have advised EOCO to vary the bail 48-hour constitutional threshold, maybe likely today. On the rates on so-called... In 2017, they were arresting, that's what they said. They were arresting former appointees. Okay? So I told you here that policemen came to my house with guns. If that is not, so he just, DAG just came to correct me on that. It's 260 million. So they came to my house in July of 2020, raid. They it to check that, and I was the one who applied for the warrants and got them issued by the High Court for the searches to be conducted. Search, constitutionally sanctioned search, a search in their houses. Maybe they are above the law. Okay, but no one is above the law in this country. We are all subject to the Constitution, saying that you cannot, your house should not be searched. So we obtain warrants, and if the media wants, I can make those warrants available. Okay, so there was no, they are deciding to bastardize me and to bastardize the operatives of the national security by even, they stole 10,000 Ghana cedis. All right, now what an insult. Okay, and that is what my Deputy Attorney General was granted to MPs. Does not mean that they should use abuse that immunity and then, defame individuals or officials who are conducting of the media. Let me tell you. So if Afenyo Markin, the Honorable Minority Leader, is daring me, we'll make that recording available for the work that we are doing. He should also take cognizance of the fact that I am the leader of the bar, and I will act in the, so I won't do anything unethical, and I have advised both EOCO and National Security Immunity by libeling or defaming public officials who are conducting normal, legally sanctioned public business. We are notifying all the banks today. You see, the gentleman who asked about the freezing orders. Note that because of the way this gentleman, the suspect, is very highly networked, if a letter had gone out before today to any bank, there would have been swift movement of money. So yes, we obtained all the account prosecution. We will now obtain what we are taking to court by writing to each of the banks to give us that for our prosecution. Is there any question that I have not answered?
5 more, please. Accountability. You may have to sacrifice.
Good morning. My name is Michael Maugbe. I report for Senate Radio Online. Honorable Minister, you mentioned that what steps are being taken to avoid a possibility of suspect and the wife disposing all those properties in order to
Kwesi Kumsen, editor of Fine. If allegedly stolen.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Justice Addo. I work for the Shunwa News Agency. Yes, there's always been this issue about. It's okay. There's always been this issue about confidentiality concerning national security spending, and people have, asked for more transparency in national security spending. And in your investigation so far, have you been able to identify, some of the loopholes that these suspects may have exploited to grab state money like that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Mutala Inusa. I work with EIB Network, GH1 TV, and Star FM. Honorable Neo, in you answering one of the questions, you did indicate that, in fact, you touched on Dr. Ernest Addison's search. One of the issues that came to the fore was the fact that CCTV cameras in the home were on Addo Boahen. You did indicate in the hope of getting him remanded. Thank you.
On his last question with respect to the search, there have been conversations in the media about the former BOG boss having backdoor CCTV footages, which has been the subject of quite a conversation. You've provided some details with respect to the alleged or purported raid. Can that be clarified as well with respect to what really transpired? And then you mentioned the former finance minister. At the last press briefing you held, you said you were going to have a conversation with the OSP with regards that investigation. Have you had that conversation? And I don't want to say, have you given the green lights because of independence and all of that, but what did the conversation also arrive at?
Good morning, Honorable Minister. My name is Nana Poku for Daily Searchlight. You agree with me that white-collar crimes are very difficult to prove, and sometimes people just forget about them. You are aware that some cases are still pending over 5, 6, 7 years. What is the dispatch that you are going to apply to make sure that these people will face justice and justice will be done?
Okay, thank you very much. Prosecute even with, in respect of the BNC transactions. All right, so we will take all kinds of steps. Now, if we go to court, we'll ask for freezing orders, both for tangible and intangible property. We'll ask for freezing orders, both for tangible and intangible property. I have already warned banks not to move any money in any account associated with any of the companies that they know. Okay, with any of the companies that they know. Okay, are related or official actions, again, seeking to ensure that we preserve the assets, for purposes of the prosecution. Now, the question with respect to whether if we recover, we will proceed to jail, and then also to recover the proceeds of crime. That's the best scenario. We have a plea bargaining regime in this country. If suspect Addo Boahen and his wife and the other suspects that we are investigating indicate that they want to enter into plea bargains, return all the assets and the the houses and so on to the Republic, refund all the monies. Okay, things can happen. One is than would have been, because he's looking at a maximum of 25 years in jail. He was born in 1981. All right, he's about 44 years old. The wife is 34. She was born in 1985, or no, 82 or thereabout. So she is 34. So you can imagine doing 34 plus 25 if they get the maximum. Okay, so she will come out at an advanced age of 59. She'll be 59 by the time she comes out of jail. All right. So if they want to cut a deal and return all the proceeds, we are willing to let them go. All right. Go to jail for a reduced sentence, or for the best scenario for them is for them to walk, make an offer through their lawyers. Immediately I file charges, they should make an offer through their lawyers, and I'll be willing to look at it, because that the question of confidentiality and national security. You see, the reason why national security expenditures are kept confidential are many. Conducting surveillance, and you want to give somebody money, okay, to conduct surveillance, and then cash the check. If expenditures are over, that is, one of the other reasons why national security expenditures are, done confidentially. So, for instance, I don't know whether you have ever seen the Parliamentary Committee on Interior or Finance or the Public Accounts Committee grilling national security publicly. Have you ever seen that? Because the tradition all over the world is that their expenses, are done, confidentially. All right. And if briefings are to be given to, let's say, the finance minister or the person in charge of our, treasury, they have to also be done, confidentially. And so I support that. The few rogue elements, like suspect Addo Boahen, should not, let us, breach national security protocols and laws by exposing their expenditures. So I will still maintain confidential. Now, regarding the CCTV cameras that were taken, the cameras were actually, and every investigator, it is the memory, it is the brain box of the CCTV camera. The camera is a mechanism for transmitting images. And it was a hard drive that we took, or the national security, operatives who went to his house took. That is standard. It's standard in any investigation. All right. So, for instance, if the intelligence we got was with respect to some items, of significance in his house, all right. If there was a movement of those items, the only way by which we will get to know is by reviewing the memory of the CCTV system, and that is contained in the hard drive. So that is what we took. So those who are saying that we went and took CCTV cameras, are mistaken. I think there was another question by the same. The question was whether when we rearrest, we will. Am I sure that the court will remand him? Now that is a burden on me when I make the application to the court to show quite clearly that all the details that I have given with respect to the plans that he made to escape surveillance. If you want, such a person to be roaming on the streets, okay, whilst investigation, Samoa, the CEO of GIF, is playing hide and seek with us. I'm sure from Senegal, he will go somewhere else. And usually what they do is that they will go to a country where they know that we don't have an extradition treaty with. Okay, so I can request that they be extradited, to stand trial. But we are monitoring him, and I'm sure one. Now, OSP, and then Honorable Ken Oforiatta. I have not yet had that conversation with OSP. So when I have that conversation, I will give you the details. Then also, someone asked about backdoor CCTV issues. If you can clarify the question, I think I've forgotten exactly what it was about. Yeah, what? Yes. About the fact that he had a CC, no, that from a technical standpoint, and I'll not there, answer a question on that. And then the last one was white collar crime and the burden. This is, your prototypical white collar crime. Okay? Now, non-white collar crime is stealing a goat or cassava to feed your family. But those who wear ties, like myself, and then they sit in public office and steal money, that is white collar crime. And if you investigate very well, you will certainly, come across the evidence that is needed to prove the guilt of the criminal beyond reasonable doubt. And I have no doubt in my mind that Raymond Acha, they've done a fantastic job. There are other white-collar crimes that I will address you on in the next few weeks. Okay? Because as I've said, this country was turned into a crime scene for 8 years, and we are uncovering what crimes were committed. Now, I also want to take this opportunity to tell everyone in public office who's listening to me that if you do what, I will come after you. I'm not going to wait, because I have the authority of Mr. President that if you engage in anything like what Mr. Addo has done, or any act of criminality, I will not wait. I will come after you. So this is a warning to everyone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Ministry of Information, where this morning the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, the Honorable Dominic Akuritinga-Yene, addressed the press on matters concerning oral as well as other investigations currently ongoing in the country to exact accountability and ensure that public office holders conducted themselves accountably and also in all transparency. Some of the updates he brought to us included the National Service scandal, as well as some other stories, including the SkyTrain story, which involved the former minister, the Honorable Rating, and his in-country. He mentioned on the National Service is of all that we have heard so far. Barbara, thank you very much for joining us once again. Let me first ask what your impression so far has been with everything else the AG addressed the press on.
Information that we don't have as press details we got from the Addo case, and Father Yoko, got wind of the informations from wherever, and then effected the arrest of Mr. Addo, and it was quite revealing. Some very detailed information out there by the AG.
In the AG's responding to some of the questions, a key of Ghana's property where members, anything he said, especially ex-governor.
Well, I don't know. I can't give. I can't tell clearly what the law states on. These sessions go, but I am of the view of thinking that, or the expression that, when such warrants are granted by the court or whichever official is granting such, I don't know if it's an impromptu just go. The law says you don't surprise people or you don't evade people's privacy unless it is sanctioned by law. That's in, I think it's in Article 18 there about. Right. So basically what they did was within the law. I remember the Deputy AG telling us in an interview saying that they had acquired a court warrant to search the premises of the former governor, and so there was nothing untoward, there was nothing illegal about the search, and it was done in accordance to
Barbara, I asked you earlier whether there is the impression, or you get the impression, that the AG is under a certain pressure to go to court.
It only goes to confirm what has mandates and the pressure to uncover those rots, but from the public, but not
from political circles.
Yes, not from political circles, and I think that is okay.
Right. Now, the other side, or the other thing that got me somehow really ensuring that we have a watertight docket before we head to court was the fact that the AG sounded warnings, and some to banks, some to individuals, some to businesses. Is it the case, or would that be the view of the AG, although you'll not be able to say, but perhaps that would be the case, that the AG is from now widening the net of him to, as it were, come forward?
Exactly. I mean, if you remember during his speech, he said that he extended a hand of grace to some of the suspects in the Addo case to come out to the AG willingly, or to the investigative team willingly, to be used as witnesses, public witnesses in this matter. So that should tell you that there's some level of grace, as you put it earlier, to these people. So according to whatever the procedure is, whatever the arrangement is, we see if these persons would also be put before the courts on the matter, or whether they can be given some.
Also made mention of a certain extradition treaty to, as it were, enforce, to ensure that these who are attempting to evade accountability are brought back. Does it mean, therefore, that the work of the AG, as well as the oral team or other team of investigators, will come to nothing if these persons decide to stay away from the jurisdiction?
I'm not sure. I can't treaties with, but however, I think there are other means of getting some of these people back into the country to face the law for their alleged crimes.
Okay, thank you very much, Barbara. I think we'll end it here.
ENJ home deco asye aha yeton inkonya papa ewa hase inkonya leda no wudi si wude mu aye forever and ever. I just one kasa wo pese wo sesa inkonya no na leda no de wa wo bana wa wo besom wa wo hu atim se mi fili leda nan kasa enya de a epa enya de etete enya de a esei ani na de ye di enua aye ne so no endwa ni mu oduye ye papa ehompa ehon sei egu demu a egu ho a chese obi eba besrawa fe eti wani mu ye pa ni nyina so ebo eda from ye pa nkonya ne de emu efe ye se de wuhu e wo screen ni so no ye wo single ones wa ha se ya se bedroom na pese ya audit na ni ahomache wo tena se na wa dwendwen wo life ho a eno so ebusu bebre e wa ha se 2 in 1 e wa ha family size de enso e wo aha se na ENJ home deco enye nkonya kwa ena ye tom ye wo center tables nyina so ebi wa ha ye wo side tables enso wa ha ene wo ko wo demu a esisi nchen wo di wo phone bi beto so charge a no so kama center table no so no flowers ni sisu a ana se wo teddy bear ne da so a fa akono ye pa ye ton eye emema shirt designer shirt nkwan so ena ye ton wa ha se ye ton shirt papa wo betimi edi etukwan shirt a wo betimi edi akwa wedding program bia shirt a wo betimi edi akọ eyi ase shirt a ehyewo a obi hu se papa yi ana abrante de nani atiye pa because nipa de wipia bonti a wo dressing ne ebi hu nipa usu ne wo ban a wo ye eti dressing de ehu hia ye pa eti no fo ani kire ENJ home deco ha se na ba beje shirt papa efa ehyewo a wankasa wo be feel gbenze within you no na ENJ enye shirt nkwa so ne sanso eton wa ha say ye wo eye wall posters enso e wa ha ebo bedroom ebo ho a fe obi besra wa kono yi a che say eti wanim pa enya go ena midi said de hu screen so say eye fe ani ne bronso e wo from ye sanso akwa eye wall clock nso e di aba ebo wo no ho a ene enu ane say time ne nso kura na person the time bia wo hwe wo clock no because f design no eye one in town wa wunya bi wo ba bia age say ENJ home deco ha say yakwa eye bathroom eye me was nso di aba eno so no f ye size bia bi wa ha type bia bi wa ha wo ba ENJ home deco ha won sa ebekam tomato paste ai aduane no aso hu hia wo to nyama ni na siesie wo ho ne wo dam wi a akase wo bedidi eno so ne adwe wo ho yie pa enti akwa tomato paste original one a ne bo eda from enso edi aba ubetini aba betobi yesan so ewe ye cooking oil ye fe sunflower no yakofa bi so edi aba wonim say sunflower cooking oil there ye quality ye original wo di ye aduane na say we ye mistake bi mpo na bi nchi bi gu mu kra na bro so a oil no ebe solve mistake ni nyina ade ama wanka say bia na do ye no na egusu ejizane na so ye pa eti no for wani chrem ewe ye nje home deco aha no ye wholesale and then retail wo pese utu wa ye available wo person to ne mako so ye available wakasa wa chichi ni benchenya so na wuti memba wo frɛ number na etwagu screen na mama comfort e de nyema no be brew e we wakasa wo fia wo da ho no mwanwa no bete pepe enj e na yaba no ya na yaba no enj home decor na ye di abrochiri abadana
so wo say ye sesem fefefe ye efi Royal Gallery e wo opekuma and into jema me number no ni ndin kita wo diem 0537 314546 0537 314546 na man na me de atudwa ama no from ma me no ni ndin kita wo de so person ye sese wo ba no mfanya na ye flo ana say ye sese wo ba no mfanya bibi e fa na nanom ne ehema asem ho and dem e kan for Royal Gallery e de ama say from no ni omu ndin kita wo de o mbe sese wo ba no so de ye bibi e wo school ana say mpo wo to e de amuna wo nua e wo amunane ana say wankasa wo to na wa ton baby biala wo biala delivery baby bia wo won sebeka so wo Ghana ha so wo amonane baby bia wo bia wo fra maami a woni nbedi nkita wo de na wo so be siesie na wo ba no na wo aye fe ye papa.
The foundation of every kid's education is important to every parent. That is why Leap International School is here to give your kids a solid foundation. The school that cares about its environment and seeks to transform it is one that cares about the education and well-being of its kids. The school has a playing ground, a bus to convey the kids in and out of school, as well as a well-furnished facilities and resources to groom the kids to future leaders. Not forgetting the well-learned teachers that are patient with the kids to ensure understanding is easy. They are located at Amanfrom off the Pokwasi Amasamango. For more information, call 0246 928 031 or 0246 098 067. Be part of a school that leads, learns, evolves, acts, and develops through sound education. Lead International School, the next leaders.
School na batan biara de ne baro ko hono ni yo. Oye Rainbow Montessori International School. Yeah. Rainbow Montessori International School. What you from Kratchi? You could see JHS. The Rainbow Montessori International School from ana. What been wrong? What's the what the Montessori curriculum in a syllabus? No what the children are the teachers wo hona. When you know why degree holders what the abutana badoyan what the trauma from anadio. Na Rainbow Montessori International School. Wakitaba funyoman what the trauma from anate. From anyone not doing boy wrong. Wakita ultra modern science laboratory, computer laboratory, library and research center, art and sculpture laboratory, hygienic canteen, now for a clinic. Na moye nika 1 point there. Rambo Montessori International School. Oye boarding house. Inyo into onfahu baby awo biara. Wawo from any batuma ba school. Onfahu there watakwa, takrade, Elibo, Cape Coast, Accra, Kumasi. One boarding house facilities now. Oye modern standard. Na wa shefu papa. It's a house master and house mistress. What you want to a boarding house no? It's a new Robiara, Bambo, another security in Sia sure. It is Fuabo from Anabra, the Ebu Rainbow Montessori International School. It was Takwa in Soyem, opposite police station. It is Addo Rainbow Montessori International School. To what you nada? Was an Wabat Shana the Papa, Emanazamsna, what Charo 111. It's a quad mission form. It was Hantaman Raban, what Takwa Soyem branch. Frayane 0277 100 823. Rainbow Montessori International School. In Moframa Wanda, China, one fapim. Oshasuaha. It's a Hana Barton Biara, Odinamo from Ariba.
JLK Guest House and Event Centre, nestled in the serene town of Efiduase Koforidua in the eastern region. So buckle up, because this place is a blend of comfort and local charm that you won't want to miss. First off, let's talk accommodations, because after a long day of exploring, a cozy bed is exactly what you need. JLK Guest House offers a variety of rooms, from luxurious executive suites to comfortable standard rooms. Each room showcases a blend of modern amenities and traditional aesthetics, perfect for both relaxation and getting a taste of local culture. Feeling hungry? The on-site restaurant will tantalize your taste buds with both international and local cuisines. Imagine enjoying a plate of steaming hot jollof rice or sinking your teeth into some freshly grilled tilapia, all while soaking in the vibrant atmosphere of Ghana. Now, let's not forget the conference hall and event center, which can hold up to 250 people. Whether it's a high-powered business meeting or a lavish wedding, this space is equipped to handle it all, ensuring every event is as seamless as it is memorable. And guess what? The real magic of JLK isn't just in its facilities, but in the warmth of the staff. Here, everyone is treated like family, so whether you're a first-timer or a frequent visitor, you'll leave feeling like part of the community. So whether you're looking for a peaceful retreat after a day of adventure, a spot for your next big event, or just a cozy corner to enjoy a meal, JLK Guest House and Event Center in Efiduase is your go-to destination. Trust me, it's not just a stay, it's an experience. So what are you waiting for? Pack your bags, bring your adventurous spirit, and let's make some unforgettable memories at JLK